A crowd chanted a woman's name in the middle of a political speech. Within hours, the state's leader of the opposition was under arrest. By evening, he was out and standing in front of every camera in Thanjavur district. This is not just a story about one leader, one remark, or one video clip. This is a story about what your rights actually are if this ever happens to you. So stay till the end. Udhayanidhi Stalin arrested and released within the same day. Nine legal provisions invoked from obscenity to online harassment. A same day bail order from the Madras High Court. A defiant press meet within hours of walking free. And a set of rights that apply to you as well, whether you ever get arrested or not. On August 3, Udhayanidhi Stalin addressed a DMK protest near Thanjavur. The subject was the Cauvery water crisis. Delta rivers running dry during Adi Perukku. He opened by attacking Chief Minister Vijay directly. He said Chief Minister Vijay's only job is to create fake cases against DMK. At that point, a section of the crowd began chanting actress Trisha's name. He responded, "No matter where the water is coming from, there needs to be water." Then he paused and added, "I meant Cauvery." That short pause is now the center of a legal and political storm. Let me be direct about this part first. Plenty of people believe the remark itself was wrong, whether or not it was legally an offense. Singer Chinmay, a prominent voice from Tamil cinema's own Me Too movement, said the leaders should stay focused on real issues, not drag women into political theatre. Actor and BJP leader Kushbu called it crass and demanded a public apology to Trisha. An impulsive line to entertain a charged crowd is still a choice a leader makes, and choices carry consequences. Whether the choice also broke the law is a separate question, and it deserves its own honest answer. On August 4, Thanjavur police arrived at his residence in Chennai and arrested him around 10:45 in the morning. The complaint came from Bhairavi, an organizer with the TVK Women's Wing in Thanjavur. TVK also filed a separate complaint with the National Commission for Women. Police booked him under 9 provisions, 6 sections of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, one section of the Tamil Nadu Prohibition of Harassment of Women Act, and one section of the Information Technology Act. From there, he was driven by road toward Thanjavur, a distance of around 350 kilometers. The case was registered at Thanjavur East Police Station, and the police first planned to question him at Thanjavur South. A large crowd of DMK workers gathered outside that station, so the location was shifted to Sengipatti further down the road. Supporters tried to block the convoy at several points along the way, and more than 100 people were detained during those protests. He reached Sengipatti only around 7 that evening, nearly 8 hours after the arrest, almost all of it spent on the road. Udhayanidhi objected on arrival, pointing out that Sengipatti was not the station named in the court and reportedly stayed inside the vehicle for a while before going in. Once questioning began, it lasted roughly 1 to 1.5 hours. Even opposing leaders found room to agree. AIADMK's Edappadi Palaniswamy and VCK's Thirumavalavan both said the remark was unacceptable, but the arrest itself could have been avoided. One more thing deserves to be said plainly. Whatever happened in that brief pause, Vijay's personal relationship is not government business. A chief minister's job is water, roads, budgets, and law and order, not defending his own name in a courtroom. If the opposition sets a trap built around a personal relationship, the strongest response is to not walk into it. Diversion helps no one, not the government, not the opposition, and not the public waiting on the Cauvery issue that started this protest. The Delta rivers were the actual subject on August 3rd, and they still are right now. This is not new territory for Tamil Nadu politics. In 2018, actor turned politician Karunas was arrested for remarks against Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy and the police. Karunas was not an opposition figure. He was AIADMK's own sitting MLA, arrested by the very government his own party ran, even after he had apologized. MK Stalin, then leader of the opposition himself, called it selective enforcement. One rule for one person, another rule for another. He pointed to BJP's H. Raja, who had made remarks against Periyar statues and against women journalists and had not been arrested. That was when it was happening to someone else. Now his own son is the one facing arrest from a different government. This is not about catching anyone in contradiction. MK Stalin is being consistent. The same fairness he asked for back then is what he is asking for now, just from the other side of it. Now back to what actually happened in court. His legal team had already filed an anticipatory bail petition before the arrest took place. The judge orally asked government counsel not to take coercive steps until that petition was heard. Police went ahead with the arrest anyway before the hearing could take effect. Senior advocate Hassan Mohammed Jinnah told the court this looked like an attempt to arrest him before he could be protected by the bail hearing. Once the case reached the bench, Tamil Nadu's Advocate General told the court there was no plan to to seek judicial custody. Justice Ilandirayan directed around noon that he be released on station bail that same day. The order came at noon, but he was not actually released until that evening, once the journey and questioning were done. 3,000 police personnel were reportedly deployed for the operation, and Udhayanidhi later said he was treated like a terrorist rather than a leader of the opposition. The entire arc, arrest to release, still happened inside a single day, just a very long one. He did not go home quietly. Within the hour, Udhayanidhi called the entire process an attempt to humiliate and intimidate him. He said he was moved specifically to keep him away from the Assembly's budget session on August 5. He also said the video used against him was cut, copied, and pasted, then sent all the way to the national media, and insisted he had spoken in a single meaning, not a double one. Asked how he saw the arrest itself, he called it a joke and said he was ready to face it legally. Asked separately about the Vijay government's first 100 days, he said he did not see it as a governance at all, just a circus. He also made a direct personal appeal to the camera, saying his parents raised him to respect women, that he has a wife, a daughter, and a sister, and that he considers every mother in Tamil Nadu his own family the same way. He drew one more comparison, accusing the chief minister going into hiding for weeks after the Karur stampede that killed 41 people the previous September, and calling it strange that a government moving this fast against him showed no such urgency then. The one thing that actually hurt him, he said, was not the arrest but the leaders who condemned him without fully listening to or investigating what he had actually said. His father M.K. Stalin defended the original speech, saying no obscene language was used and asking critics to verify facts first. None of these claims are settled fact. They are his position, said on camera for the record. None of it changes whether the original remark was appropriate in the first place. And plenty of people, including voices well outside the government, still say it was not. Here is the part worth slowing down on. There is no law in Tamil Nadu that specifically criminalizes an offensive joke about an actor. What exists are general provisions: obscenity, harassment of women, and online circulation of content. Freedom of speech in India is a constitutional right under Article 19, but it is not unlimited. Within the same article, there is also a section that allows reasonable restrictions, including for decency, morality, and public order, and that is the ground being used here. In fairness to Udhayanidhi, he never actually said Trisha's name. He was answering a crowd that did, and the distinction is likely central to his defense. It does not fully settle the question though, because a leader at his level knows exactly how a past loaded lion will be read by a crowd already chanting a name. Choosing to entertain the moment instead of shutting it down is still a choice, and the standard for public leaders is usually higher, not lower. DMK's position through MP T.R. Balu is that no woman was named at all. The complainant's position is that the intent was obvious to everyone listening. Both readings are on the public record, and neither one is a verdict. There is a version of the story where TVK government is right to act. A complaint about a harassment of women deserves to be taken seriously, no matter who made the original remark. There is also a version where this looks like a familiar tool reused rather than retired. Both things can be true, a genuine complaint and a politically convenient one at the same time. The government's own lawyer told the court the goal was only questioning, not custody. Udhayanidhi's press mate directly disputes that, calling it damage control after the court pushed back. The public record shows both statements side by side, and they do not fully agree with each other. Here is a one more question worth sitting with before we close. If Vijay were not the chief minister, just an actor whose relationship became the punchline, would any of this have happened at all? Would a complaint even get filed? Let alone 9 sections invoked and 3,000 police deployed for one man. The government does not need to answer that question on camera, but it hangs over the entire case anyway. Now here is what actually matters. If this was not a leader of the opposition but you, his lawyers moved first, asking the court to protect him before police even acted, so this never turned into the kind of case where someone sits in a station with no idea why. There is a remedy for that second kind of case too, a court order that forces police to explain themselves when they refuse to. Most people never get either kind of protection simply because they do not see the arrest coming or they cannot reach a lawyer fast enough. Here is what the law actually promises everyone, no matter who you are. Police have to tell you why you are being arrested right away, not later. You can also name one relative or friend who has to be told where you are, and you must be brought in front of a magistrate within 24 hours. None of this is new. It goes back to a Supreme Court ruling from 1997, and on paper, it applies to everyone equally. The law itself was not different for a leader of the opposition. Having a legal team ready to move within the hour, that was different. That gap, access rather than the law itself, is a real story for most people in Tamil Nadu. A speech, a chant, a pass, an arrest, a release, and a press meet, all inside one single day. Udhayanidhi walked out calling this an attempt to humiliate and intimidate him, not a fair process. So the real question is not whether this arrest is over, it is whether it was the last one or simply the first of many still to come. One more thing worth watching for as of tonight. He was released still some 340 kilometers from Chennai just hours before the Assembly's budget session opens. Whether he makes it on time or arrives late and hands the government a fresh headline is genuinely unknown tonight.